What's up, everyone? Today's video is going to be a reaction, but it's going to be something very old school. Now, I got this idea from another channel I like to follow, so shout out to Knockbro Nation. This is going to be a throwback to 1997. This is going to be the Season 1 trailer for Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Now, this is a series I watched from beginning to end. I was a big fan of it, big fan of Sarah Michelle Gellar, David Boreanaz, James Marsters, all the crew involved with that. I've gotten the chance to meet at least one of those people, well, at least one of the cast, Nicholas Brendan. I got to meet him way back in 2013 at Salt Lake Comic Con. But I wanted to do this just to have a little fun with it, because I have been rewatching this series and just kind of falling in love with it all over again. And so I wanted to do this to just kind of see what 1997 looks like, really, because it's been so long. I was just a weird little 13-year-old kid back when this show first came out. And keep in mind, yes, this is a Season 1 trailer, but there are actually various Season 1 trailers where, especially way back in the early days, I saw this one where it kind of gives some kind of background to what a Slayer is, and it actually has a different actress in it to play Willow, but she's not really introduced in the trailer because this is actually before Allison Hannigan signed on to do Willow, because they have an unaired pilot, I believe, is out there on YouTube, and I have caught snips and pieces of it, and it's a completely different feel than the finished product that was actually released on WB. I think the following trailer that I'm actually going to review is actually probably a DVD release, because back when they did all that, they did the series release of many TV shows, and I had every single season of Buffy at the time, but I turned around and sold them at some point. But anyways, with all that said, let's get into the trailer.
Welcome to sunny California.
So
Who could
1997,
imagine that
it's
beneath this perfect little
so good at
community
the same time.
lies the mouth to hell, and our only hope of survival
To each generation, a Slayer is born.
is in high school.
And just the commentary and everything on the trailer too, just it's
I think I speak for everyone here when I say
it's just hilarious,
Chosen to
really.
fight,
I'm Buffy, and you're history.
trained to maim,
You're the Slayer, and we're like the Slayerettes.
dressed to kill.
There's something bad out there. We'll find. You'll slay. We'll party.
She's Buffy, and no demon,
Don't worry. I don't bite.
no vampire, no creature from hell.
What is your childhood trauma?
And just to see them all so
Can't
young
stop it.
and just it's so weird that this was so long ago.
Clark Kent has a job. I just want to go on a date.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Fight evil. Bring Buffy home.
If the apocalypse comes, beat me.
I mean, it's almost so bad that it's good, because again, I have been rewatching this, and just to see where it started and where it ended up is just, I don't know, it's just really funny to watch it, and just to see the big difference between TV series then and TV series now, and just the commentary involved and the way they do the trailers. And it's so corny, but I fucking love it. And to see all those actors that I more or less grew up with. And I mean, not only did this show, it kind of defined a whole generation. It defined a lot of these people's careers and everything. Sarah Michelle Gellar especially, she, to this day, 20 plus years later, is still known as Buffy the Vampire Slayer, even though she has made it clear, unfortunately, that she will never reprise this role, simply because of the creator and everything. He has come under a lot of scrutiny, and he's definitely not anyone's favorite person right now. And the fact that it's so unfortunate that behind the scenes that it has been revealed by the same people that did the show and everything, that he was kind of a piece of shit and treated people like shit and just was an all-around jerk. And that just sucks, because without him, there will be no revival of this show. So, I mean, it might be a good thing too, because if they can't have the original characters, there's just really no point, because they made this show. We had the movie also way back in the 90s with Chrissy Swanson and Luke Perry. That's kind of a distant memory. It's just the way they changed the mythology and everything between the movie and the show was so big and everything, and the show, they really delved into the mythology and built this world and everything. So it's just, they're completely two different things. It's so nostalgic and it's fun to go back and watch this because in some ways, yes, the effects and everything, they're pretty bad, but I mean, you gotta give it credit for the time that it was made. It was really good, and in some ways also, it still really holds up. And just, I'm watching it again here lately, and it just makes me feel like a kid again, where I remember the feelings I had watching the show, getting to know these characters, and really understanding, you know, my world growing up, being in certain situations and everything, feeling certain ways about different things. It's just really funny to go back and watch this and see where it started versus where it ended, and just the different things that it went through, and to see where a lot of these actors are today. Some are in kind of dark places and they've had a lot of problems, and then others are more or less retired. Sarah Michelle Gellar, she just had the series Wolfpack, which is a werewolf series that was on Paramount Plus. It's only had one season so far, and it's been okay. It had a kind of a twist at the end of it that made it more interesting and everything. But you just look at her and you see Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It's something that very fortunately she has embraced, and she understands that she will always be associated with that character, even though there are some parts of it that she may not like so much, but she understands it and she accepts it, and she's grateful for it at the same time because it built her career. I mean, she's been acting her entire life, but that role put her on the map as far as being a known celebrity. She had done soap operas and stuff, and she'd done commercials and stuff when she was a kid, but this role, it turned around, it just changed her whole world. And along with introducing David Boreanaz, he was just a guy walking his dog, and he was discovered and then brought in for this. He had done some small acting roles like with Married with Children, but then he got discovered walking his dog, and just brought this character Angel to life and gave it so much depth and everything. And from this, again, it launched his career. He's done several other shows along between this. Not only did he do Angel on Buffy, he got his own series out of it. He walked off at season 3 of Buffy, where he actually did a kind of a backdoor pilot like they do now, where he left and everything. And so he did his own series for about 5 years before it was canceled abruptly and just kind of left us with a cliffhanger that to this day kind of annoys me, but I believe that they did continue it within the comic books as well as Buffy too. It ended season 7, and they did a comic book continuation where the characters live on, which is something I really probably need to get into and read. But and to kind of add to it a little bit more, one thing that always really bugged me about this first season especially was the Master. We got to meet this all-powerful vampire that is supposedly very old, and we actually never got to know how old he was, where he came from, who he was as a human being before he was turned. And so that always really bugged me, and because he had so much backstory to tell about who he was and the vampires that he made, because we know that he actually sired Darla, and then Darla turned around to sire Angel, and so on. And so that always kind of got under my skin with the fact that they introduced this vampire that is supposedly thousands of years old, and so just kind of gives some taste, because they say that, or they show because of how old he is and everything, that's why he looks the way he does. So he actually says in one episode, very few vampires are as cunning enough to live as long as I have. So how exactly old is he? Where did he come from? So that kind of really bugged me. We never got any full backstory about who he was, because he looked the same way back in the 1600s when he made Darla. So right then and there, I mean, he had to be well over 2,000 or 3,000 years old, maybe more. I don't know, but that's just something that always bugged me, because we never got to know who he was as a master vampire and as a human. And so that just really just always got under my skin. It was always kind of a sore topic for me, because I wanted to know more about this character, but we never got to find out. And he was abruptly killed off at the end of the first season. Like, I understand that they had to have kind of their seasonal villains for every season, and I think they could have taken him and stretched him out into more than just the first season, because he's supposed to be this all-powerful vampire, and he's snuffed out pretty quickly. And so that was something that always annoyed me. I wanted to know more about him, and we just never got the chance. Anyways, that is kind of what I wanted to do this. I wanted to kind of do a throwback to a time before YouTube even existed, and because my channel is so young and I'm still trying to build my audience and everything, I just kind of want to go to something that I really loved and something that I just enjoyed a lot growing up, which was this series. If you liked the video, please leave those likes and comments. And as always, if you feel so inclined, please subscribe to the channel, because I'm going to be bringing you many random things like this. Like this summer, I'm actually going to be doing some traveling to film different filming locations for different things. I actually have visited the high school and Buffy's house out in California. It's in a city called Torrance that was the setting for Sunnydale. So I'm going to do something similar and go visit some other places and just add a variety of content to this channel and to kind of appeal to everybody. If you liked it, leave the likes and comments, subscribe, and I'll catch you later. Bye.